Hello everyone, this is Jamie and welcome to your fifth Grasshopper tutorial. Now this tutorial is really awesome because we're gonna design a skyscraper, and that's pretty amazing for a fifth tutorial, I think. Now just hit open Grasshopper in your Rhino, and what you want to do is create your base shape. Now I would rather use a shape that is in Grasshopper because it's much easier to control, and it's a little bit tricky if you create a shape here and try to manipulate it in Grasshopper. So I would choose, I would go with a polygon to start with. And if you see that the polygon, by default, the plane it has is on the origin, like 0, 0, and the x and the y. And you can change that if you want. Okay, so if you want to change it, let's say you wanna, let's copy this, okay? So they're overlapping, like both polygons are on top of each other, kinda, basically. So what I want to do is assign a plane to it. So double click and right plane. And what you want to do is right click on the plane, second plane, and draw a different plane. Now it's easier to draw this in perspective because it's more accurate. So just choose a place where you want the polygon to be drawn in, and hit shift to make it in ortho mode and a lot easier to deal with. So yeah, so here we have this plane. If you just link them together, you can see that the polygon is in this plane, the second one, and the first one is still in the origin. So yeah, now I want to draw something else too. Let's make an ellipse. So choose an ellipse. Same thing here. With your ellipse, you notice that it's also in the origin, and if you want to change it, you just hit double click, right plane, set one plane, and I want the ellipse to be drawn here. Okay, so hit ortho, shift, and there we go. So shift one click for your x-axis, and the other click is for your y-axis. Practice it a bit because it's a bit tricky, and make sure if you draw it in perspective, like if you want to draw your plane perspective, it's going to be a little bit tricky, so let me show you that. Okay, so let's say I want to draw ellipse without the plane, so I'll disconnect this first, and I want to create a plane, like, there you go. So if I want to draw it or create it in perspective, so first click is for my axis, not boyfriend, and here is for the y, and you can see that it's going to be really hard to actually make it in it like perfect unless you hit shift. So it's actually up to you if you rather draw it in perspective or not, it doesn't matter. So just move this. We have three nice geometries, and what you want to do is always check what these letters mean if you're completely lost. I mean, it's really easy to understand what the program needs, like what definitions it needs to be fed to know how to operate. So R is radius, S says segments, RF is fillet radius. So we'll work first with this polygon, okay? So we need numbers. I can see that radius is a number, segments is a number, like 7 is a number, 0.1 is a number, RF is 0.1, it's also a number. So what numbers are usually sliders in Grasshopper. You always need sliders. They always use sliders when they're designing anything in Grasshopper. I never saw any definitions that didn't have sliders. I think that's exactly what makes it perimeter. So I chose 100 just because. Okay, so just gonna connect this, and I'm gonna see that what does this radius, how does it work? So this is radius of 7, this is radius of 24. So as you can see, it goes bigger and smaller when I'm moving the slider. Next thing, I just copied it, and this S is the segments. How many segments you want? You want them 4 segments. Well, 2 is wrong because it doesn't make a polygon anymore. Your minimum is 3. So 3 is a triangle, 7, and goes closer to the circle. So I'm gonna go with a pentagon, because I like pentagons. If you just double click on the 5, you're good to go. The fillet radius is this here. How much do you want the radius to be? So let's say if you copy paste and just play with it, you can see that it makes it a bit organically shaped, like smoother edges. Now this is really fun, so I'm gonna keep this. I don't know, I like it like this. Now, okay, this is our first polygon. Now, if you want this polygon to work with also, you just copy this and it'll be fine. I'm really sorry if it's gonna look messy in a while, but just we're here to have fun and like enjoy creating stuff in Grasshopper. So I want this to be a triangle. I'm gonna hit 3, and I want the radius to be 20, and the fillets to be, yeah, I don't want it sharp. I don't like sharp that much. I do like it in squares though. Okay, so the ellipse, we can see that it needs 2 numbers, radius 1 and radius 2. So you know that the difference between an ellipse and a circle is that the circle has only 1 radius and the ellipse has 2 radiuses. So we're just gonna copy these sliders. So I chose 100 because it's easier. It's a bit lazy of me, but it doesn't matter. So there you go. You see, like, if you play with this radius and you play with this radius, it changes. So this will be your base for your skyscrapers. Now, whatever number I choose, you don't have to follow it by heart. Like, you can choose any number that looks okay with you. If you already have a number in mind, it doesn't matter. Like, you're more aware of the dimensions of your base. So to create our first skyscraper, I'm gonna choose this polygon in the middle. And how to create a polygon is, how to create a skyscraper. The secret is with the definition called move. So in move, if you hit the G, which is the geometry, and okay, so the polygon would be your geometry, and the T is your direction. So hit Z, then it says you want it to move on the Z-axis, which is up. Okay, so extruding up. Now the move is different than what we know like in other 3D programs, because the move here actually creates a copy from whatever geometry you move. So it's like a reference geometry. So it keeps 2. It keeps the reference and it keeps like the copy of the reference, and this is what move does. So it's really secret of creating skyscrapers. Now, if you want to do this in normal program, you usually just copy every single, like if you have 40 floors, you're going to copy this polygon 40 times, and it's going to take an hour. But in here, it's going to take like 5 seconds, so not really, but almost. Now, the other thing we need to do is something called a series. So SERIES. And the series are basically how, like, it moves it in a certain number. So by default, I'm not sure how much are these, but we usually change it. Like, if you have 2 sliders, I'm going to create new sliders. So let's say, Control-C, So if you really don't want to know, you don't know, so just hit, like, if you hover over it, start as first number in the series, N is the steps, C is the count. So usually we don't, like, I don't know which is which, like which one is going to represent the height of the building and which one is the number of the floors. So what I do, I just like connect the numbers and I try to guess, like when I, okay, So here's our horrible skyscraper. So I see here that this, when I like make it lower or change the numbers, I see that it plays with the height. So I know that this n is for height. What I usually do, I just name it and I call it height. Okay? So height here says 7 meters. Let's say I want the height to be 5 meters. So there you go, a skyscraper with 18 floors. So 18, how did I know? Like when I move this, it tells me how many, like the floor, the number of copies changes. So let's say I have, how many floors do I want? A million, 20 floors. Floors, I have 20 floors. So yeah, this is how you create the first skyscraper in Grasshopper. Now you're probably wondering, okay, I have like a bunch of polygons going up 20, what am I gonna do with them now? I still have to draw each surface and draw a facade and stuff. And the thing is, it's really, really easy with Grasshopper. What you wanna do, these are all your geometries, okay? Like when I click on move, I notice I click everything, like all the geometries I have. So what I want to do is create a surface from these geometries. So write surface. Okay, so make sure it's this surface, not another type of surface, and just link your geometry to the surface. And there you see that it created like a base floor for each of these geometries. Now the thing is, I wanted also to talk about as a loft, and the loft is creating. Wait, okay, let's remove the surface. Like a loft is creating a surface between all the lines. What I mean is, like, if you never used loft before, you just connect the loft, you can see that it creates the facade around it. So the loft is basically creating kind of a surface or face of like between each polygon and the one under it. Okay, so the loft is lofting. I don't know how to say loft. Well, it makes if you have two polygons like here, you have this polygon, and if you loft this polygon with this polygon, it's going to create like a surface or face around it, like lofting. Yeah, I messed it up. Anyways, so let's say I want both the loft and the surface. So just double click the surface or right surface, if you can spell, and just connect the geometry with surface and the loft. And there you go, your pretty skyscraper with all the floors. And yeah, I think this is pretty awesome with also a facade. I mean, you're good to go. Like if you're just doing a basic conceptual design, you can even change here. Like that's why I chose a geometry from Grasshopper. It's really harder if you go with Rhino. You can actually change how the diameter of your diameter. Yeah, the diameter. I can say diameter of your polygon, and like how many sides you want it to be. Like if you change your mind and you want it to be kind of extruded skyscraper box shape. This is a box. Or just say you want it to be like sharper on the edges or smoother on the edges. And this is why you create, this is how you create skyscrapers, basically, in Grasshopper. Now let's say you have done this definition on this skyscraper, and you want it to be on both the polygon and the ellipse. The trick is, you just copy, like I see here polygon, it starts here, and this is basically the same as this, okay? And this is all the new definitions I created for this skyscraper. So what you need to do is just select these, and unselect these. Okay, so um, by hitting shift, like you can select them, and then hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, And you can get another one of these definitions and just connect the G to the P. There you go. And this is your second skyscraper. And you can also do this again for the ellipse. And just connect the G to the P, I guess. So yeah. So this is how you get, like, we have a bunch of skyscrapers. And they have basically the same definition, but you can also play with it, like here in the slider, you can make it bigger or smaller, you can make the radius different. Yeah, and also you can play with the height and the number of floors and the height and stuff like that. So this was really fun. I hope I didn't go too fast for you guys. I'm sorry if I did. So yeah, this is basically creating your skyscraper and grasshopper. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next tutorial.